On today's video, I would like to talk about swap memory. So when we were talking about a part of the computer, we mentioned that all the information that we send to the computer will go to the RAM, and then the RAM would send those information to the CPU. So it's gonna be some moment when the RAM is gonna be overused. The RAM is gonna be saturated. So at that point, what is going to happen is going to require for some backup to be able to use properly during the time that it will be saturated. So there's many different ways on how he can request that backup, but on this video, we're going to mainly talk about the backup based on the disk. So he's going to require some backup to the disk, and he can also require some backup through a file. So we're going to talk about how to create a swap memory, which is a backup to the RAM through a hard drive, and we're also going to do it through a file. So to create a swap memory to a hard drive, we need to first start by partition the disk, and to partition the disk, you need to add a spare side of the disk, which I already show how to do it on the video where I talk about disk partitioning. So here we can see that I have some extra disk that is being added, and we're going to use the SDB disk to create a swap partition out of it. So the first thing that I need to do here is to see what amount of swap we have right now by doing a swap on -s. So we see that we have one swap file that is created originally, and if we do a free-m here, we're seeing that we have about 240 size of swap memory that is added. So to partition the disk, we need to do a fdisk /dev/sdb. We want to create our swap from the SDB, and here we're going to do a n for new, and then we're going to do a p for primary, and we're going to press a 1 for the default one, and then we're going to take this amount, and let's say we're going to add 500 meg. Here is telling us like a partition is being created. It's a type Linux. We can do a P for print to kind of see that is a type Linux. To change the type here, we need to press T. T for type, and if you want to see all the different type, you can do a capital L for everything to be listed. And here we can see that 82 go for the type swipe. So I will do 82 here, and if I do again P for print, you will see that now it has switched from Linux. Here is even say that it's changed from Linux to swipe, and we can see that here down here. And I will do a W for print, and let's do a part prop to notify the kernel of the change that we made. So at this point, if I do again lsblk, we will see that there's a partition of 500 that is being created. So that partition right now, we want to mount it as a swap on our disk. For that, we do a make swap, and we specify dev and SDB SDB1. So it's telling us like here we have a swap block that is being created. Now we need to mount that swap. We can mount it 2 different ways. The first way that we can do it is to mount it temporarily, which is temporarily mean at reboot, the swap going to disappear. It's not going to be mounted anymore. And we can do it permanent, so that it's going to be persistent when the machine boot, the swap will be take effect right away. So to do it temporarily, we need to type swap on /dev/sdb1. So at this point, if I do again free -m, here we see that the size has changed. It went from, I think it was 2047 now to 2547. And if we do a swap on -s, here we will see that we have a swap that is being added and it's a type partition. So this is how you add a swap partition temporarily. And if you want to remove that swap partition, you will do a swap off on /dev sdb1. And if I verify again, we will see that the swap file is gone. And if I do again a free -m, we'll see that it went back to 2047. So to make it permanent, at this point, we need to VI into etc fs-tab. And here at the last of the line, I'm going to specify the partition here, which is /dev /sdb1, and mounting it on swap. Swap here, default, and default 0, 0. And you save that. And after saving it, you need to do swap on -a to add all the swap. So if we verify again by doing a free -m, it went back to the side that we were having before. And if we decide to do a free -s, we see that here swap has been added, which is a type partition. So that's basically how you add a swap memory to the partition. So the next step here that we're going to do will be to add a swap to a file, and we're going to use the dd command to do that. For that, you can do dd if equal /dev 0, and here we have of equal, you specify the name of the file that you're trying to add as a swap. Let's call it a new swap, for example. And then I'm going to create a bs equal 1 meg and count equal 100, 1,000. Let's go with 1,000 count here. So after the file is created, I can do ll on the root directory. We see that our file here is created. When creating the swap file, we need to make sure that it's going to have a 600 permission or either 644. For this case, we're going to go with chmod 600 on /new swap. So if I look it again, now the permission has changed here to 600. So now I need to add that swap file, and I will do again make swap, and I'm specifying the name of the file here, which is a new swap here that is being added. Same thing as we were doing for the partition. We can add it either temporarily or permanent, and the game is going to be pretty much the same thing. To add it temporarily, we need to do a swap on, and we specify the name of the file that we just created, new swap. And if we do a free -m to see the SAP of our swap, we already went all the way up to 3,500 from based on what we have added. And if we decide to do a swap on minus S, here we see that we have a new swap that is created based on the file system. So to amount that, we do the same thing by doing a swap off, and we specify that file new swap, and that's how you remove it. And if you want to make it permanent, it's going to be to VI into etc FS tab. And here at the last line again, I'm going to do a /new swap. It's a type swap here, default 0, 0. So I'm saving that, and if we do swap on -A to add everything that was entered in the FS tab file, and if we look again, we see our swap file that was mounted permanently. And if we do a free -M here, we're going to see the size of our swap, which went back to 3,500. So depending of which one you want to use, either a swap file or a swap partition, the situation is going to be based on the environment that you might be working on. But there's some slight benefits and advantage that will come based on one or another. And for that, I wanted to share some of the, differences and benefits that will come between using either the swap file or the swap partition. So the goal will be to practice that, do it, and get comfortable with these new skills that we just learned today.